Most men believe power in relationships comes from controlling women. That belief is the very thing that makes them weak. The strongest men in history, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Miyamoto Musashi, never sought control over others. They mastered the only battlefield that truly mattered, their own emotions. Because the moment a woman can disturb your peace, she doesn't need to manipulate you. Your emotions do the work for her. This video is not about hating women. It is not about becoming cold, cruel, or detached. It is about understanding a truth most men learn too late. A man who controls his emotions becomes unshakable. And an unshakable man becomes naturally respected, not just by women, but by life itself. If you've ever felt anxious waiting for a reply, if you've ever lost your composure trying to be chosen, if you've ever given too much power to someone who hadn't earned it, then stay with me. Because once a man masters this truth, he stops chasing approval and starts choosing with clarity. Welcome to Stoic Golden Tribe. Like, subscribe, and share this message with a man who needs it. Chapter 1. Why emotional control is true. Masculine power. A weak man believes power comes from being wanted. A strong man understands power comes from self-command. From a young age, men are taught the wrong lesson about strength. We are told to dominate, to chase, to prove, to win affection at all costs. But no great man in history ever built his legacy by begging for validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That single sentence dismantles everything most men believe about relationships. Because the moment your emotional state depends on how a woman treats you, you have surrendered your authority. Think about it carefully. When you feel anxious because she hasn't replied, when your mood collapses because her tone changed, when you over-explain, over-give, or over-pursue out of fear of loss, that is not love. That is emotional dependency disguised as affection. And women can feel it instantly. Not because women are evil, but because human beings are deeply sensitive to emotional imbalance. A man without emotional control becomes predictable. Predictable man becomes easy to influence. And an easily influenced man slowly loses respect, first from others, then from himself. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. Epictetus taught that when we allow external things to disturb our inner state, we become slaves to them. Not slaves in chains, but slaves in reaction. This is why emotional mastery is the foundation of masculine power. It does not mean suppressing feelings. It does not mean pretending not to care. It means choosing how you respond rather than being dragged by impulse. A man who can sit in silence without reaching for validation. Who can walk away from disrespect without rage. Who can desire a woman without needing her approval. That man radiates calm authority. And calm authority is magnetic. Notice this truth. The men women respect most are rarely the loudest, the richest, or the most aggressive. They are the men who are internally settled. Men who do not rush. Men who do not panic. Men who do not bargain for affection. Because emotional control creates scarcity of reaction. And scarcity increases value. When you stop reacting emotionally, you stop broadcasting insecurity. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop handing your power away piece by piece. This is why men who master themselves are never desperate for attention. They already possess what most people are searching for: inner stability. And once you have that, no woman controls you, no situation destabilizes you, and no rejection destroys you. You are free. Chapter 2. How emotional reactions quietly kill attraction. Attraction is not destroyed in loud moments. It doesn't die during arguments, jealousy, or confrontation. It dies quietly, in the small emotional reactions most men never notice. Every time you react impulsively, you teach people how to treat you. A delayed reply makes you anxious, so you double text. Her mood shifts, so you rush to fix it. She pulls back, so you chase harder. In your mind, you're being loving. In reality, you're communicating fear. And fear is the opposite of attraction. Women don't lose interest because a man cares. They lose interest because a man's emotions become dependent on them. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men avoid. When you react emotionally, you place her at the center of your inner world. And nothing kills attraction faster than being someone else's emotional center. The Stoics called this misplaced control, giving power to what should never have it. Seneca warned that the man who cannot endure discomfort will trade his dignity for relief. Think about that. How many times have men apologized, not because they were wrong, but because they were afraid to lose access? How many times have men tolerated disrespect just to keep emotional security? That is not strength, that is bargaining, and attraction cannot survive bargaining. A woman may stay, she may enjoy the attention, but deep respect begins to fade, because deep down, respect requires self-sufficiency. Modern psychology confirms this too. People are drawn to those who are emotionally regulated, those who don't outsource their peace, those who don't collapse under uncertainty. This is why emotional restraint feels threatening to insecure people. They can't read you, they can't control your mood, they can't pull you into chaos. And this is also why emotional restraint feels safe and attractive to healthy women. A man who doesn't overreact communicates something powerful without words. I am grounded, I will be fine with or without you. Not as a threat, not as manipulation, but as truth. And truth is felt. Notice the paradox. The moment you stop trying to secure attraction, you become more attractive. The moment you stop chasing reassurance, you create space for desire, because desire requires tension, and tension dies when you are emotionally needy. This doesn't mean being cold, it means being centered. You still express interest, you still communicate, but you do not panic when things are uncertain. You don't fight for attention, you don't explain yourself endlessly, you don't react to every emotional shift. You observe, you choose, you respond when it aligns with your values. And this is the turning point for most men. When you master emotional reaction, you don't need tactics, you don't need manipulation, you don't need games. Your calm does the work for you. Comment below, have you ever noticed attraction fade after you started reacting emotionally? Be honest. Awareness is the first step. Chapter 3. How to train emotional discipline without becoming cold. Most men fear emotional control for one reason. They believe it will make them distant, robotic, or heartless. That fear is understandable, because many men confuse emotional mastery with emotional suppression. The Stoics never taught suppression, they taught governance. Marcus Aurelius did not feel less, he felt accurately. The goal is not to kill emotion, the goal is to delay reaction, because between stimulus and response exists a space, and in that space lives your power. Viktor Frankl, who survived the worst conditions imaginable, identified this truth clearly. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. That space is what most men have never trained. So how do you train it? First, slow your body before you discipline your mind. Emotional reactions begin in the nervous system, not in logic. Your heart rate rises, your breath shortens, your thoughts race. If you try to think your way out of emotion, you will fail. Instead, breathe slower than the emotion demands. Relax your jaw, unclench your hands. Sit still when every impulse tells you to act. This alone separates men from boys. Second, practice emotional fasting. Not fasting from food, fasting from reaction. When you feel the urge to explain yourself immediately, send that extra message, seek reassurance. Defend your ego. Pause, wait 1 hour, then wait another. Ask yourself, if I do nothing right now, what actually happens? Most of the time, nothing catastrophic occurs, but something powerful does. You regain sovereignty. Third, detach outcome from self-worth. This is the hardest step. Most emotional reactions are not about the woman, they are about the man's fear of being unchosen. But a man who ties his worth to acceptance will always be emotionally unstable. You must internalize this truth. Rejection is not a verdict, it is a filter. A woman pulling away is not always loss. Sometimes it is clarity, and clarity protects disciplined men. Fourth, replace reaction with ritual. Strong men do not rely on willpower alone, they build systems. When emotions rise, train your body, write your thoughts, walk alone, pray, read, channel energy instead of dumping it on someone else. This is how masculine calm is built, not overnight, but through repetition. And here is the final realization most men miss. You don't become emotionally strong to attract women. You become emotionally strong to keep yourself intact. Attraction is a side effect. Peace is the reward. Because once a man can sit with desire, without desperation, with silence, without anxiety, with uncertainty, without fear, he no longer needs control over women. He has already mastered himself. Comment below. What emotional reaction are you committed to pausing before acting on from today onward? Drop it below. Chapter 4. How emotionally mastered men command respect. Naturally, respect is not demanded, it is felt, and it is felt most strongly from men who are emotionally complete within themselves. An emotionally mastered man does not chase attention. Attention moves toward him. Why? Because people instinctively trust those who are not desperate for validation. Think about the men you respect most. They are calm under pressure. They don't over-explain. They don't rush to be liked. They don't argue emotionally. They speak less. But when they speak, it carries weight. This is not coincidence. This is emotional discipline made visible. In ancient Rome, the most respected generals were not the loudest. They were the most composed in chaos. Soldiers followed them not because of fear, but because calm signals competence. The same law applies in relationships. A woman may test emotionally, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. She watches, does this man panic when things feel uncertain? Does he lose himself when I pull back? Does his emotional state collapse without reassurance? An emotionally mastered man does not fail these tests, because he doesn't even recognize them as tests. He remains himself. He doesn't punish silence. He doesn't chase distance. He doesn't argue for his value. And paradoxically, this stability creates safety, because a woman knows this man's presence is not conditional. His interest is intentional, not compulsive. Respect grows in that soil, and respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. Here is the quiet truth. Women do not want men who control them. They want men who cannot be controlled emotionally, not because those men are cold, but because they are grounded. A grounded man does not manipulate. He does not threaten. He does not beg. He chooses. He chooses who gets access to his time, his energy, his commitment. And choice is the ultimate expression of power. When you master your emotions, you stop fearing loss and start valuing alignment. You don't ask, how do I keep her? You ask, is this right for me? That shift changes everything, because now love becomes intentional. Boundaries become natural, self-respect becomes non-negotiable, and when a man lives this way, he becomes rare, not loud, not aggressive, not controlling, just unshakable.